Hi everyone, Simon Keeling here on Friday 24th of February. Thanks for watching. As always, the site's kept free of charge by the adverts that you see around the screen here. So if you do see one that you like, click on it, go through to the advertiser. That generates revenue for us and it shows the advertiser you're interested in what we're doing. So thanks to all of you who've been doing that, and of course click on the advert if you're interested in it. Okay, this is how the ensemble model sees the next few days in terms of temperatures. This is the forecast for London, and you can get this if you go to the top of the page, you click on weather charts at the top of the page there, come down the left hand side here, and there's the GFS ensemble. Click on UK cities and it brings you up a temperature trace for various UK cities. Now excuse me, notice how we mild look here. This is today at the beginning here, but look, temperatures do drop off during the early part of this weekend, but then look what happens, we're back up again into the middle part of next week. Now if you hear any nonsense on the radio or the television about yesterday, about Thursday, with 18.7 degrees, just being 0.1 degrees Celsius short of the all-time record at Coles Hill, you will scream and shout at the television, won't you? The records go back to 2001 at Coles Hill. So what is this part of this culture we've got into where everything has to be seen as a record? It really is misleading to people. So but having said that, that's an aside. Look, we're seeing temperatures here rising up to sort of 15, 16 degrees again during next week before coming off. This is quite interesting. This fall off in temperature into the beginning part of March. Look, this is normal temperatures, so we're only going back down to normal, but it's interesting how this then goes cooler, look, into this first half of March. I'll tell you a little bit more about March in just a moment. What I want to concentrate on now, though, is the forecast for the next few days. We'll take a look at March in just a moment, but this is how things look on the ensemble model for the coming days. So this is today. The time is up here in the top right hand corner. Here's high pressure, look, and you can see most of the country dry, enjoying another fair day today, but some drizzle in the west. As we go through tonight and into tomorrow, so we find bits and pieces of rain just tracking around northern parts of Scotland. I think some drizzle as well over southern parts of the UK too, but for most of us it's another dry and warm one, and in fact that's the way it stays into Sunday too. Just bits and pieces of rain spreading east, mostly affecting northern and western Scotland and the north and west of Ireland, but for southern and eastern areas we stay generally dry and mild with that southwesterly wind dominating. You see the southwesterly is still there into the beginning part of next week, so we're getting now into Tuesday, into Tuesday next week, and you see the highs still there with this warm southwesterly flow. So this is these really warm conditions starting to develop once again, looking into Wednesday, some very warm weather as that southwesterly flow dominates. Then we get into the beginning part of March, and looks like it is going to stay mild for the early bit of March. So on Thursday, very mild. But then as we get through into Friday and into the weekend, things start to cool off a little bit. The track of air not quite so warm, coming off from a south or southeasterly direction. And if you trace the isobars back here, you see they actually originate over eastern parts of Europe, where it's still quite cool. So temperatures are coming off to nearer or just above normal levels. I think western parts of Scotland are always going to be affected by bits and pieces of drizzle, and it looks as if the high really just try to stay in control until we get into at least the 6th, 7th, by which time it's just again northern and western Scotland, northern and western Ireland seeing bits and pieces of rain, perhaps a little bit of drizzle on western coast at time, but really it does look as if these fair and fine conditions are here to stay for many central and eastern areas, although it will be cloudy at times with those western coasts just seeing some outbreaks of drizzle or some light rain from time to time. But with a flow coming in from the southwest, temperatures are going to be staying above normal for the time of year. And there we are on the 10th, look, still with high pressure in control, hence the reason for temperatures staying well above normal for this time of year. And if we just take a look at where the jet stream is at that time, this is the combined sea level pressure and 500 millibar flow, and here's the jet stream where these colours are close together here. This is the jet stream coming across the Atlantic, look, and it's travelling the British Isles, and not particularly strong either by the time it gets there, hence the reason for it being so dry. And if you look at the rainfall charts, this is the rainfall prediction for the next 8 days. This ends the 1st of March. Look, rainfall levels, this is just dry to half a millimetre within much of England, Wales, Scotland and Ireland. It's just the west of Scotland there. If I zoom in a little bit you'll see better. It's just the west of Scotland, Western Ireland that really sees any rainfall to speak of, and staying dry across much of Europe too. In terms of temperature, here's how that translates. This is the temperature anomaly. This is the one I want to show you, running from today through to the 3rd of March. And again, you can see, look, temperatures hovering just above normal, between the 1 and the 3 category above normal. Some very warm conditions locally across northern and eastern areas, so we do stay mild then. And then into that second week of March, still the mild weather prevails. This takes us through to the 11th. Look, temperatures around or above normal, just not quite so warm. And this is that fall off that I showed you on the chart at the beginning of the bulletin. Now, show you something else. This is a new chart that I'm working on, and I'm hoping to have these available on the website soon. This is from the CFS. This is the long range model I've been telling you about, and these run through to the 6th of April. Yes, it's a daily forecast of the 6th of April, so you need to treat it with extreme caution and just look at the guidance that it's giving. And of course, other long range models tell different stories. What is quite promising though is that if you look in the early part here, look, this is the temperature trace. Notice how we've got the warm period here, it goes cold into next week, and then it becomes warmer briefly before temperatures fall off, look, into the early part of March, which is what was being shown on the charts that we saw previously. And then, look at this, we see temperatures hovering around or above normal at 10s and 11s for much of March, before taking this dip around between the 17th and the 20th. We need to look at what this is caused by. I suspect high pressure tries to build in, and we just take some cooler days. But what's interesting is that there really isn't any prolonged cold period being predicted through March, so nothing exceptional seems to be on the cards, apart from this cooler spell between about the 17th and the 21st. So what could that be? Well, these are the forecast 500 millibar heights for weeks 3 and week 4. From yesterday. So this is the first week, from the 9th of March to the 15th of March. And again, I'm working on some charts that will make these far easier for you to read. But this is the 9th to the 15th. And British Isles under here, these are the anomalies. So see the red colours here? This means above normal heights, look up towards the west and north of the UK. So it's dominating with high pressure in here. Below normal heights across Greenland, so what we would find is the jet stream is blowing through here, so to the north of the country, hence keeping it dry and fairly mild during this period. And then into the 4th weeks, between the 16th and the 22nd, the high tending to slip its way further into the Atlantic. Now the result of this would be that the winds would tend to flow like so, perhaps bringing a brief spell of cooler easterly winds across the country during this period. The continent is still relatively cold, Europe is still relatively cold, and in fact I can show you that on the maps here on our website. If you go again to the GFS operational, click on EU temps, and there you should find temperatures for Europe. And I just want to show you, you see that we're still relatively cool across the eastern parts of Europe. So if we get that occurring, then it could be that cooler air just tries to sneak back in, and we could go quite frosty during this period around the 16th to 22nd. But remember, that was only short-lived as far as the CFS saw. It pulled temperatures up at the end of the month, and I'm still of the opinion that the jet stream will try and pull its way southwards through the British Isles and may well bring a more unsettled end to the month, with temperatures recovering to nearer normal conditions. So nothing really dramatic showing up through March. There is just this period we need to watch for the potential of cold weather, but high pressure looks as if it is certainly going to be dominating. So I hope that's been useful for you. I know there was lots of information there, so of course you can play over the video at any time. Please do spread the word about the videos, tell your friends about the site and the charts and the developments that are on here, and don't forget, if you see an advert you like, click on it, go through to the advertiser. It generates revenue for us, and it shows the advertiser that you're interested in them. Once again, thanks for watching, and keep the sun shining.